All right, grand rising, grand arrival, grand return. Peace and blessings to the righteous and the repentant alike. I am Cleopadra Sophia the Bodhi, and this is my daily spiritual freedom reflection for day 6. Most of the day, I was asleep. I got a lot of sleep. I feel much like 1,000 times better. I do believe like part of my headache issue was because the sun was square the nodes. The sun was in Sagittarius square the nodes. So I think that was a huge part of why I was feeling so bad. My side still hurts, but definitely not as much as it did a few days ago. It seems to be bouncing back, right? So I did watch my video for the energy for yesterday, but I literally don't even know what it was about because I was so out of it, even though I watched it. I don't know what lesson I was supposed to learn yesterday, so I can only tell you what actually happened. So I started my day. I took my daughter, to the farmer's market. And as I mentioned before, they had this program at the farmer's market where they were giving away $40 to anyone to use anywhere in the market that was courtesy of this law firm. So the money ran out last week. So this week they didn't have it. So I'd taken her up there thinking that it was going to still be available, but it was unavailable. So that was a pretty long amount, like a couple months, like a month and a half. It was a lot of people at the farmer's market last week. So that probably was just literally the last rush. So they're out of that program, which was really, really good while it lasted. So I'm glad I got a chance to participate in that. And then on the first Saturday of the month, they have something called a free market. So after we left the farmer's market, we went down the street and there was a free market. And they got a few things. I didn't really get out the van because I was not feeling good. Like my head was hurting really bad. My side was hurting me really bad. So I just sat, I parked my car so that I could look at the river, and I let them go off into the park or whatever. And I did have a conversation, a very, very difficult conversation with somebody. And it was really difficult for me because I don't like giving people bad news. I mean, I may seem like it because I do it all the time, but it's not one of my favorite things. Like, to deliver bad news to a group is one thing, but to tell one person that something, that I view it as bad is going to be plaguing them is not like ideal. Like, that's not something that I enjoy. And so it was really, really difficult for me to put it into words, but I did. And the person was very grateful that I told them the truth. Because a lot of people, they're used to being lied to. Like, if someone has to give you bad news, they will just lie. They will never tell you, and they will let you continue to suffer and all of that. But at the same time, like, if it's bad news, it's bad news. There's nothing that you can really do about that. And it's not really for you to do anything about it, especially if you're the one delivering the message. So I really know how Joseph felt when he went and told his dream, knowing that the dream meant, that his brothers was going to have to submit to him, and look at what he got for it. Like, it wasn't like, oh, he told them the good thing and they praised him for telling them the truth, because obviously that meant that he was going to save them. They was really upset. They was really upset that he had this gift and he could interpret it. And the interpretation was, your brothers is going to bow down to you. They're not going to have a choice. They took that really, really difficult because he was the youngest. He was also the son of Rachel, who Jacob loved. You know what I mean? Like, it was just all of this, like, really weird, like, whatever that was associated and affiliated with the fact that, he had this dream, which he didn't. You can ask for dreams, but he didn't ask for that dream. Men don't program their sleep time. They should, but they don't program their sleep time. They don't. So he didn't ask for that. And so as a result, like, what could be done about that? There's nothing that could be done about that. But the brothers just took it totally wrong. They took it really, really bad. And so now I know how that feels. It's like you see something and you got to tell somebody, hey, some really bad things are going to happen, but it's the way that it is. And they just take it poorly. They don't want to hear it. They want you, especially if you're a diviner, right? You do Galder. I think that's what it is, Galder, which is magic. I'm not going to use that M word anymore. We're going to call it Galder. You do, and hopefully I got it right, but you do Galder, and they're like, oh, well, do your little Galder stuff and solve our problem. It's like, no, actually, I can't do that and solve your problem because the universe says you're going to have to go through it. It's like, no. And that's what ceremonial magic is. Like, ceremonial magic literally has to deal with telling, like going against the will of the creator, going against the will of the person. And you can't be doing that. Like, you have to engage in Galder, which is natural. It goes with the flow. It amplifies what's already going to happen. It or it makes it easier for you to bear. It does stuff like that. And so that's kind of like the, what this experience has been like. So after so once I got in the house from all of that stuff we were out doing, I went to sleep. I would sleep for like 4 hours. I got up and, heated some things up for dinner, ate a little something, basically, and went back to bed until someone started sending me videos about these Somalians. And this is really like, I have to talk about this because I don't think people understand what they're trying to do. So if you go over on TikTok, you will see that all the Somalians are basically repeating this phrase, this very specific phrase, which is, we were promised Minnesota 3,000 years ago. They think they were promised America because it's not just Minnesota. They're not just in Minnesota, but they say Minnesota. They specifically say Minnesota as if Minnesota is their capital in America. And they say that they were promised this land 3,000 years ago. Now, why would they have to say that? Because 3,000 years ago is before the conquistadors came. It's before the Brits came. It's before any of these Western, entities came to this land. It could be before the Chinese and the Asians came to this land as well. So they're talking about a time period that belongs to us who are native to this land. They are trying to usurp our birthright. It is their birthright. It is their inheritance. It is their dowry. That's what they're saying when they say this land was promised to them 3,000 years ago. And then they proceeded to come to this land and settle in this land and rape and pillage the land and the people who are already on the land. That doesn't matter. First of all, it's not true. Show me the script. Because all they're doing is saying, oh, it's in the book, you can read it. No. Somebody needs to pull out the script and read it. And read where it says America. Okay? Americana. Read it. Because until I see from one of these people, these Somalians, that this land, America, Americana, the motherland, right? The motherland was promised to them 3,000 years ago, their claim is invalid. They are not the inheritors of this land. They have to prove it. I've proven it. Go back on my channel. I've done lots of history, lots of videos showing how this land is what I say it is. You all have to prove it. You can't just say it. No one believes you and no one cares. So that is another level of these race warriors. I had said these race warriors were just these conquistadors and their bloodline inheritors that come here from Central and South America who come here to take over the land. Those are one set of race warriors. Now, all of these Africans and all of the, especially the ones who worship Allah, who I've been railing on for months with no understanding why, now I get it. All these Allah worshippers are also race warriors. They need to be removed. They are not allowed to be on this land. They have to go. Allah is being called out of this land. No more Allah on this land. Now, there are people who are Muslim or Islam, and they're not worshippers of Allah. They're worshippers of the Creator. And so those ones are fine. Just like I said with the Sulan, if they want to say that they came from that religious background on this land, I don't care. As long as you worship the Creator. But if you worship Allah, you're going to have to go. The Allah is not the Creator. Muhammad is not the Creator. I'm sorry. It's not. He's not whoever. Not. Okay? So if you worship the Creator, you're more than welcome to stay on this land. If you don't worship the Creator, you're going to have to get up off this land. This includes these Goldilocks Americans, especially these ish people who brought their weird Jehovah to this land too. It's time for you to go. And I'm not asking. I'm telling you, it's time for you to go. You're no longer welcome on this land. If you are an Ish person with Ish background who came here on Ellis Island, i.e. the Goldilocks Americans, or you're some of these Somalis, or these other Africans, or these Afghanis, or whoever you are, and you worship any other God other than the Creator, you have to go. This includes these Protestants. If you're not worshiping the Creator, and you're worshiping Jesus, Cristo, who is not the Lord, the Creator of all things, it's time for you to go too. Your welcome has been, your paperwork is being canceled because, okay, I haven't posted the videos yet from CryptodeMedici, but I will. But let me say this. With the Zolkin, I'm going to clip out that part because it's really difficult to explain in a couple minutes, and I don't want this to be too long. But there's a castle called the Blue Castle of Transformation, okay? And the Blue Castle of Transformation is Americana, North America, okay? And so Americana, people who are native to Americana are the ones who are to be doing Galder, which is the correct way to call magic. And so if we're the ones who are supposed to be doing Galder, because transformation is Galder, okay? If we're the ones who's supposed to be doing Galder, then everyone else doing Galder is canceled. But the ones who do the Galder are the ones who should be doing the vetting. We are the ones who are supposed to evaluate if people are allowed to be here. So we have to take our position as the vetters, as the ones who vet these people who come to these lands. And our first rule of engagement when vetting these people is, do you worship the Creator? If you worship the Creator, whatever religion you practice, because that's not the same thing. If you worship the Creator, no matter what religion you practice, you are welcome on this land. And the government has to figure out how to do that, since they don't want to just hire us to do it, right? And pay us what we need to be paid to get the job done. Now I understand why they have so many black people from PG County, Gowder County, Nigga County, working in the government, because we're the ones who are supposed to be doing the vetting. We're the ones who are supposed to be doing the evaluating. And so they made that happen by putting nothing but black people surrounding the government. So there you go. That's the answer to that question. But if you are doing Gowder, actually you're doing ceremonial magic, you're canceled. You're not allowed on this land. Nobody who does ceremonial magic is welcome on this land. You have to go. Okay? Ceremonial magic is worshiping someone other than the Creator. Gowder is working with the elements and the Creator. And so if you are practicing ceremonial magic, you're not welcome on this land. The Haitians already got their eviction notice. The Somalians is getting their eviction notice as we speak. These Goldilocks Americans are next. They worship a God that is foreign to this land. This land is the land of Gowder. Therefore, if it's the land of Gowder, that means you guys have to go. Because nothing but Gowder will be allowed on this land. Go and do that weird whatever on your own land. Look at the EU. They're doing all kinds of ceremonial magic. Guess where they're being put out of? They're getting kicked out of America. These people are not allowed to come here and do their weird ceremonial magic, which includes what is that stuff? Censorship. Because if you're doing ceremonial magic, you have to be controlling the narrative. That's the only way your ceremonial magic works. With Gowder, we don't need the narrative. Forget the narrative. You can take the narrative, do whatever you want with the narrative. We don't need it because the Gowder speaks for itself. So yeah, that whole 3,000-year-old claim is really, really to basically usurp the claim of anybody else on this land, and that is not the case. And they're really exposing themselves. So I want people to continue to have their energy withdrawn from this system. Do not put your energy into this system. Do not put your energy into these people. Do whatever you can to remove your energy from these people and this system. That is what's going to hasten the collapse, because these people think they can do it without us. So let them try. We're the ones with the Gowder. So let them try. If their propaganda is so much greater of a God than our creator, let their God of propaganda do his job. Allah, Jehovah, whatever. Do your thing. However, you're not allowed to do it on this land. So you're going to have to go. And all these people are going to be removed. I don't know. Again, we removed our hedge of protection. There is no unnecessary pain and suffering. Anybody who's suffering right now is necessary. There's no unnecessary loss of life. Anyone who's being removed is necessary. We're done playing games with these people. I've had enough, personally. I've had enough. And the time is up. And so it's time for them to go. So that was that's what I found that out late before I went to bed. I was really, really upset by that. Really, really upset by that. So now I'm up. I'm getting ready to go to church. So this video is going to be a little bit short. I'm going to try and listen to what energy is going to come in for today. But we have a new month, Zolkin month, starting on the 12th, which is Friday. The video will be out for that. I'm going to work on that probably today. And then we'll start our next 13-day cycle. Hopefully in our next 13-day cycle, we'll go over the 9-day cycle. I couldn't get it done for this 13-day cycle, but I'm just trying to let the energy play out because it's very different from the previous energy. And so I don't want to confuse it, and I don't want to confuse myself because it's a lot of energy and it's very, very easy to kind of mess everything up when you're trying to do too many things at once. So I'm taking it very slow. We're also still feasting. So, continue on with your feast if you're participating. And the candles are going to go out on tomorrow for the people who ordered them to participate in my fundraiser. They're going to go out tomorrow in the mail. The one thing I will say is that they are still experimental. So I started a candle yesterday that I made with the rest of the batch. It's not quite ready, meaning beeswax has to cure for longer than regular wax. You can't it just needs more time to cure, and it's not quite ready. So it's fine. Mine, I'm going to wait. I'm not going to relight it. I'm going to wait until I light the other one and see if it does whatever. But as of right now, I'm just making the statement, making the comment. These candles are not they're still experimental in nature. So just be careful, okay? That's the best I can say. Please be careful because they're experimental. Meaning burn them near something that can deal with if it goes up into flames. The flames do things that are erratic, like my candle was doing. It may burn different than what it's supposed to. There's all kinds of things, but that's because the candles really needed another week, and I knew they needed another week. But now I'm for sure certain that they needed another week in order to really be ready. So by next week they should be ready. Okay, that's the point I'm making. By next week they should be ready. So just make sure that you don't start the candle before December the 14th. That's another thing. Don't start. And I'm going to put a note in the box, but these candles have to cure a long time. So that's probably why they're so expensive, because you're buying a candle that has been cured for quite a long time. And so I think that what I'm going to do is, if people, I'm going to put it on my website for pre-order. And then the next batch will go out starting after Epiphany. So you're not going to be able to get a candle if you didn't pre-order one. Because they need 3 weeks, and I'm not going to send it to you and you're like, oh wow, I'm going to light this candle and it goes up in flames like mine did, because mine was really up in flames, and that's because it needed more time to cure. It wasn't ready. It wasn't the wick part. It was literally the fact that the it wasn't burning the way it was supposed to, because it needs more time to cure. And this is my my second time like preparing this kind of candle with the wood wick, with the what's the name. And when I burnt the first one and it did that, it was messed up. But when I let the other one cure another week to 2 weeks, it burned fine. It burned all the way down. There was no issues. So I know it's a curing problem. So these candles probably are going to cost $40 each, because they have to cure, which means I have to store them. I have to pre-make them, and then I have to let them sit for like probably a month. These have been sitting for, I made these before Thanksgiving. So we're about 2 weeks. Yeah, next week will be 3 weeks. So that should be good. But you cannot start burning them until the 14th. Or later, like maybe start like I know I said I wanted to start them on the what's name day, but even my own candle, I'm not going to be able to start on time. I'm just going to get a regular candle. And I put something out about that, like how to just use a regular candle to participate in that part of the 12 days of Christmas with us, which is coming up, right? So, which starts on the 12th actually. But I don't want these candles to start until the 14th. But anyway, I'm putting them in the mail tomorrow. Doesn't matter. So hold them for another week before you start burning them. So burn a regular candle for the first first part of the 12 days, the first 7 days, and then burn this candle for the second. And then just keep burning them. There'll be enough to go through. So once it's really just whatever candle has to go first. That's the one that needs more time. They're not, like I said, they're not ready as of yet. But in another week, it would be perfect. Because I just recognize the way that it burns. So they're still experimental in nature. That's just the nature of how I operate. They're experimental. So I am grateful for all those people that participated in the fundraiser. And some people, I'm holding on to theirs. Yours will be fine. By the time you get them, they'll be great. Okay. So, I think that's all. Thanks so much for tuning in. Shalom, peace, and blessings. And we'll see you in the next video.